Midway through the renovation, you realize that working with your contractor isn't working out after all. You can't seem to agree on anything. Deadlines are missed. Quality standards differ. What do you do now? Do you cut your losses and fire him? Well, it is possible to fire your contractor midway through a renovation, but it does require a good reason, a lot of paperwork, and a clear process. In this video, I'll be breaking down how you can safely fire your contractor midway through a renovation. So if you're interested in finding out more, stay tuned. Hi guys, welcome to the Dream Reimagine, where we share everything about home renovation and design in Singapore. Do you want to forget to hit the subscribe button so you guys do want to miss out on any future videos? When people engage a contractor for their renovation, most of them will assume that once the contract is signed, it's a done deal. The same contractor will be engaged from start till end, regardless of what happens. However, we see this differently. We see our clients as temporary partners who will eventually cease to become partners once the project is completed. And since the project duration spans over several months, it is normal for us to have our highs and lows. Our client might start off as being very satisfied with our service, but as time goes by, perhaps due to delays or hiccups along the way, he might start questioning our work and wondering if he has made the right choice by engaging us. In reality, changing contractors midway through a project is kind of like changing drivers in the middle of a race. It is possible to do so, but it comes with risks. As a contractor, we understand that it is challenging for us to take over a project midway, because we would have zero knowledge of what has been done previously. We would also have to try our best to match the existing workmanship done by another contractor. But if our client is adamant about making the switch, we won't stand in his way. We've had instances where we have taken over projects from other contractors, and although it was tough, we managed to pull through and our clients were happy with the results. So here are the steps that you should take note of in the event you want to terminate your existing contractor and engage another one to take over. Number 1. Check if you have legal grounds for termination. Before you decide to terminate your contract with your current contractor, you must ensure that you have valid reasons for doing so. Some examples of valid reasons include non-performance or repeated delays, poor quality of work, or unsafe practices and breach of contract. However, just because you dislike your contractor or have reached a point where you just co-own work with him, anymore is not sufficient grounds for you to terminate the contract. For the termination to be legitimate, you must be able to prove that there has been a breach of contract. It is important to keep in mind that a contract is a legally binding agreement between both parties, and you could be held liable for breach of contract if you do not follow the correct procedure. Therefore, before taking any action, always refer back to your contract to see what it states in the event of termination. Most contractors usually include a termination clause in their contract, which outlines the notice period required for termination, as well as the conditions for termination and any applicable penalties or liquidated damages. However, if you have engaged a contractor who does not have a written contract, then chances are that you might have to settle the matter amicably, and the onus is on you to document everything properly. Number 2, review your contract. As mentioned earlier, most contractors will include a termination clause in their contract, which states the conditions for terminating the contract. If your contractor has failed to include a termination clause in your contract, then you can choose to terminate the contract by serving a written notice of termination to your contractor. However, please note that your contractor can also choose to challenge your termination of the contract in court if he feels that the termination is unlawful. Therefore, it is advisable to always engage a contractor who has a proper written contract. No. 3. Settle with your existing contractor. Before getting a new contractor on board, you should first settle all outstanding matters with your existing contractor. This includes finalizing the scope of works that has been completed by the first contractor, conducting a joint inspection with your contractor to identify defects and obtaining a written record of these defects, creating a punch list of works done and not done, determining the amount already paid to the contractor and the balance payment due. Keeping records of all these matters will prevent disputes from arising in the future. Number 4, hire a new contractor. Once you have settled all matters with your previous contractor, you can then engage a new contractor to take over the project. When briefing the new contractor, show him the approved plans, scope of works, and the punch list that you have obtained from your previous contractor. The new contractor should then prepare a BOC for the remaining works and include a clause in the new contract, stating that he is aware of the previous defects and will not be held liable for the same. No. 5. Manage your risk. Changing contractors midway will definitely affect the timeline of your project. There's no way around it. It may also increase your overall costs, but sometimes sticking with a bad contractor can be even worse. We have seen cases where a homeowner terminates a contractor in the middle of the project, only to find out that the next contractor engages is incompetent and does a hack job. At the end of the day, a renovation is a huge investment, and you should not hesitate to make a change if things are unright. However, do it the smart way. Even if you decide to stick with your original contractor, it doesn't mean that you have to endure everything. You can always voice out your concerns and see how he intends to rectify the situation. As long as you document everything via email or official letters, you will always have a record of the discussion. Just remember not to resort to text messages alone, because if a dispute arises, text messages can be easily dismissed as hearsay. Alright everyone, that's it for today's video. Hopefully this video is useful to you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe so you guys don't miss any future videos. See you next time. Bye.